Welcome to My Expat Stories. You ever watch electricity flow into a grid in real time and think there's no way that can be faked? Trevor's 43, IT manager from Bristol, lost £75,000 on a solar farm in northeast Thailand. The panels were real. The electricity was real. The woman handling permits knew Thai energy regulations better than the officials. She made him ginger tea at 2 a.m, showed him photos of her father's farm destroyed by drought, said this was their chance to build something that actually matters. Trevor checked everything. If you've ever thought verifying technical details makes an investment safe, hit subscribe and like. Trevor checked everything except the one thing that mattered. Here's his story. I'm Trevor, 43, and 4 months ago I stood in an empty field in Nakhon Ratchasima staring at nothing. Just dirt, a few concrete foundations, tyre tracks. 3 weeks before that, this exact spot had rows of solar panels in the photos they'd sent me, complete installation, ready to generate power. Now there was just wind and dust and the sick feeling in my gut that I'd been played. £75,000. Gone. Here's how they did it. Look, I'm not some naive bloke who falls for email scams. I've worked in IT management for 19 years, building infrastructure for financial companies. My job is literally verifying that systems work, that equipment's real, that what people tell you matches what's actually there. But at 43, I'd started thinking about climate change more, about doing something that mattered beyond quarterly earnings reports. I wanted my money working on something real, something good. That's how I found Daniel Foster's article in an expat forum. British guy, been developing solar farms in northeast Thailand for 5 years. He explained the Thai government's feed-in tariff program, 20-year guaranteed purchase agreements. Government pays premium rates for solar power. Can't be changed. Royal decree. It made sense. Thailand's sunny. Land's cheap. Government backing. Environmental impact. Decent returns. I reached out. Daniel responded in like 2 hours. Professional. Detailed. Said his company ran 3 operational solar farms in Nakhon Ratchasima province. Invited me to come see them before making any decisions. That's the first thread of the web, isn't it? Someone who's too helpful. Too transparent. But I didn't see it that way. I thought, bloody hell, finally someone who's not dodgy. November, I flew to Bangkok. Took a bus northeast to Korat. Daniel met me at the station in a new Toyota pickup. Had Korat Solar Development logos on the doors. Late 40s, tanned, fit. That expat who's made it look. We drove about 45 minutes into proper rural territory. Rice paddies, cassava fields. Flat land stretching forever. Then we turned onto a dirt track, and there it was, a gate with a security guard. And beyond the gate, row after row of solar panels. Acres of them, gleaming in the sun. Farm 1, Daniel said. 1.2 megawatts. Been operational 4 years. We drove through. The panels looked professional. Well maintained. I'm not an energy expert, but I know what real infrastructure looks like. This was real. At a small control building, Daniel introduced me to his operations manager, Kamala. Late 30s, Thai, white blouse, navy trousers, professional handshake. Perfect English. Welcome, she said. I'm Kamala. I handle all government permits and relationships with the Provincial Electricity Authority. She led me into the control room. Monitors everywhere. Real-time data. Current power output, cumulative generation, revenue calculations. The numbers were moving. Live. Actual electricity flowing into the grid. Each farm needs minimal maintenance, Kamala explained. We clean the panels quarterly, monitor performance daily through these remote systems. She knew her stuff. Talked about inverter efficiency, grid connection protocols, Thailand's alternative energy development plan targets. I studied renewable energy engineering at Chulalongkorn, she said. Worked for the Department of Alternative Energy Development for 5 years before joining Daniel's company. I know the regulatory framework better than most consultants. I'm watching these screens. 4,000 kilowatt-hours per day. Real numbers. Real power. Over the next 2 days, they showed me farms 2 and 3. Similar installations. Different districts. All operational. All generating power. Kamala coordinated everything. She'd explain the grid connection process at each site. Show me the power purchase agreements. Walk me through Provincial Electricity Authority inspection reports. Between sites, she'd talk about Thailand's renewable energy policy, about the government's commitment to 30% renewable by 2037. Guaranteed by royal decree, she said during one drive. Can't be changed without National Energy Policy Council approval. Your revenue's locked in for 20 years. She wore different outfits each day. Navy blazer, cream blouse with grey skirt. Always had her leather portfolio. Always organised. Like someone who took this seriously. That second night I got properly sick. Food poisoning. Something from lunch wasn't sitting right. By the time we got back to my hotel, I was in bad shape. Around midnight, there's a knock at my door. Kamala's standing there with a plastic bag. Daniel told me you're sick, she said. Brought ginger tea and medicine. My grandmother's remedy. She came in, made the tea with the electric kettle. The smell of fresh ginger filled the room. Drink this slowly, she said, handing me the cup. It'll settle your stomach. She sat in the chair by the window. Didn't leave. You don't have to stay. I know, she said. But I remember being sick alone in a foreign country. It's awful. We talked while the tea worked. About renewable energy, climate change. What drew us to this work? My father was a rice farmer, she said quietly. Northeast Thailand. Aizan. I watched drought destroy his crops year after year. By the time I was 15, he'd lost everything. Had to sell the land. Moved to Bangkok for construction work. She looked at me. Climate change isn't abstract to me. It destroyed my father. Watching these panels generate clean energy, knowing we're part of the solution. That's everything. I felt it. That connection. That's exactly why I'm here, not just for returns, to actually do something. She smiled. I knew that about you. Most investors just see numbers. You understand why this matters. She stayed till about 2 a.m, making sure I was okay. More tea. By the time she left, I felt better. And I felt something else too. The spider was watching, testing the web. Third day, Kamala took me to see the site for Farm 4. 6 acres about 20 kilometres from Farm 1. Flat. Perfect sun exposure. She walked the site with me, pointing out features. Perfect south-facing slope. No shade. Grid connections only 800 metres away. Keeps installation costs down. She pulled out a tablet, showed me solar irradiation data. Historical weather patterns. Generation projections. Based on our experience with the other farms, this site should generate 900,000 baht annually. About £21,000. Daniel showed me the financial projections. Total installation cost, 9 million baht, about £215,000. Payback period's roughly 10 years, Daniel said. After that, it's pure profit for another 10. I spent the next week researching, contacted the Provincial Electricity Authority in Bangkok, confirmed feed-in tariff programs existed, found academic papers about Thailand's renewable energy policy, found articles about Daniel Foster in expat magazines, successful green entrepreneur. Everything checked out. During that week, Kamala and I texted. She'd send updates about the project, answer my questions about Thai regulations. I love this work, she wrote one evening. Building sustainable infrastructure, reducing emissions, making real environmental impact. Most people just talk about climate change. We're actually doing something. I felt the same way. That's what got me. One evening she texted, "Are you free for dinner? Want to show you something?" We met at a small restaurant in Korat. Quiet place. She arrived in jeans and a green top. First time not dressed for business. Needed a break from blazers, she said, smiling. We ordered. Som tam, grilled chicken. The evening was warm. She pulled out a folder. I wanted to show you something personal. Photos. Her father standing in rice fields. Her as a young girl next to him. Fields, green and healthy. Then photos from years later. Same fields, brown and cracked. Her father's face aged, defeated. This was 2012, she said quietly. Worst drought in 50 years. He lost everything. Had to sell to developers. They built a shopping mall where our rice used to be. She looked at me. That's when I decided to study renewable energy. I couldn't save my father's farm, but maybe I could help prevent other families from going through that. I reached across, touched her hand. I'm sorry, that must have been devastating. It was, she said. But it gave me purpose. And now, building these farms with someone who actually gets why it matters, that feels like honouring what my father lost. We sat like that. Her hand in mine. The warm evening around us. The web was tightening. I could feel it, but it felt like connection, not trap. We had dinner 3 more times over the next 2 weeks. Each time felt less like business, More like something else. Something I hadn't felt in years. She invited me to her apartment one evening, small place in central Korat. Books about renewable energy everywhere. Maps of solar installations on the walls. I wanted to show you the detailed projections I've been working on, she said. But also I just wanted to cook for you. You've been eating hotel food for 2 weeks. She made pad krapow, extra garlic, fried egg, sticky rice. We ate on her small balcony overlooking the city. Evening lights coming on. Most men don't understand my work, she said quietly. My ex-boyfriend thought renewable energy was a waste of time. Said I should work for an oil company, make real money. We broke up over it. She looked at me. But you get it. You left a comfortable job in Bristol to come here and build something that actually matters. That's rare. She reached across the table, touched my hand. This is our chance to build something real, not just for profits, for the planet, for families like mine. I held her hand. I feel the same way. Later we sat on her couch reviewing financial projections, numbers, timelines, impact calculations. I must have dozed off because I woke up with my head on her shoulder. She was still working on her laptop. She covered me with a blanket. Sorry, I said, sitting up. Long day. She smiled. You looked peaceful. After 3 weeks, I decided. The business model was sound. The farms were real. The electricity was flowing. I'd seen it with my own eyes. I invested £75,000. We met at a lawyer's office in Nakhon Ratchasima. Thai lawyer named Sirawan explained the partnership structure. Korat Solar Development Farm 4 Limited Partnership. 3 partners. Daniel 40%. Me and another British investor named Paul, 30% each. I transferred £75,000. 2 weeks later, we had a signing ceremony at the Farm 4 site. Land lease executed. Surveying work already begun. Kamala showed us the timeline. Grid connection scheduled for June. Full operation by July. She sent me excited messages after. Finally, we can move forward. Having partners who understand renewable energy makes all the difference. We're going to build something really meaningful together. This is our project, Trevor. Yours and mine. That means everything to me. For 4 months, I got regular updates. Photos showing construction progress. Mounting systems installed in March. Panels arrived and mounted in April. Every update looks professional. Match the expected timeline. Kamala would text between updates. Saw the first panels arrive today. Stood there watching them unload and thought about my father. About what this means. Or, missing you. Missing our late night planning sessions. When are you visiting? I started planning to relocate to Thailand. Spend more time in Korat. Build something with Kamala. Not just the business, something more. In June, Daniel emailed, grid connection delayed due to bureaucratic issues. Technical work complete, but final permits hadn't been issued. Should be resolved within 2 to 3 weeks, he wrote. I wasn't worried. I'd worked on enough infrastructure projects to know government approvals take longer than expected. 3 weeks became 6 weeks, then 2 months. By August, I was starting to worry. I sent multiple emails to Daniel. His responses became vague, less frequent. I tried calling Kamala. Her number was disconnected. That sick feeling in my stomach. September, I flew back to Thailand without telling Daniel. Arrived in Nakhon Ratchasima on a Tuesday. Took a taxi straight to Farm 4. What I found made my blood run cold. Empty field. No solar panels. No mounting systems. No electrical infrastructure. Just bare earth. Tyre tracks. A few concrete foundations. I stood there in the hot sun staring at nothing. I pulled up the progress photos on my phone. Rows of panels. Complete installation. I looked at the empty field in front of me. Bloody hell. I checked the GPS coordinates from the land lease. This was definitely the right place. But everything was gone. Or had never been there. I drove to Farm 1. The gate was locked with a chain. Through the fence I could see solar panels, but the facility looked abandoned. Weeds growing everywhere. Farm 2. Same thing. Panic setting in. I drove to the Provincial Electricity Authority office in central Korat. Explained I was an investor in Korat Solar Development. Needed information about our grid connection status. The official asked for the company name and registration number. He checked his computer. Several minutes, then looked up confused. I have no record of any company called Korat Solar Development registered with our authority. I showed him the partnership documents. The power purchase agreements Kamala had shown me. He examined them. These documents are forgeries. The seals and signatures aren't authentic. The ground dropped away. Police gave me a report number, said they'd investigate. That was it. 2 weeks later, they called back with what they'd found. Korat's solar development had never been registered as a solar energy company. The 3 farms I'd visited belonged to other companies. Daniel'd just taken me to see facilities he didn't own. The power purchase agreements were sophisticated forgeries. Kamala wasn't who she claimed to be. No renewable energy engineer by that name at Chulalongkorn University. The construction photos were taken at a different location, probably another real solar farm. I wasn't the only victim. At least 4 others over 2 years. Combined losses over £280,000. The money'd been moved out of Thailand within 48 hours of each deposit. Your chances of recovering anything are very low, the detective said. I flew back to Bristol devastated. £75,000. A huge chunk of my savings. Gone. But the money wasn't even the worst part. It was Kamala. That midnight visit when I was sick, making ginger tea at 2 a.m. I remember being sick alone in a foreign country. The photos of her father, rice fields brown and cracked. I couldn't save my father's farm. Cooking pad crapo in her apartment. Most men don't understand my work. When I fell asleep on her couch and she covered me with a blanket. The texts. This is our project, yours and mine. Saw the first panels arrive today. Thought about my father. I'd felt like I'd found someone who shared my values, who understood my passion for doing something that mattered, who'd lost something too and found purpose in this work. All of it calculated, all of it fake. She knew renewable energy the way I knew IT systems. She could discuss feed-in tariffs, power purchase agreements, grid connection protocols. She knew it because she'd studied how to fool people like me. Every conversation about sustainability was designed. Every text about climate change was staged. Every moment in that apartment was scripted. The woman who made me tea at midnight didn't exist. The woman who showed me her father's photos didn't exist. The woman who covered me with a blanket didn't exist. I'm back in Bristol now, still working in IT, telling people I'm taking a break from major investments. I don't tell them why. I checked everything. I saw real solar panels generating real electricity. I verified the farms existed. I confirmed Thailand's feed-in tariff program was real. I never checked if the company was actually registered with the authority. I never verified Daniel owned those farms. I assumed real equipment meant real ownership. She knew I'd inspect the equipment, so she showed me real equipment she didn't own. She knew I'd want to see operations, so she took me to farms that weren't hers. She knew I cared about climate change, so she gave me a story about her father's farm, destroyed by drought. She knew I was lonely, so she made me tea at midnight. She knew I needed to feel like I was doing something meaningful, so she turned the investment into a mission to save the planet. Every vulnerability I had, she studied it, tested it, used it. The web was perfect. £75,000. That's what it cost me to learn that someone can show you real solar panels generating real electricity and still be lying about everything that matters. That's Trevor's story. 43 years old, 19 years in IT management. He inspected real solar panels, watched them generate 4,000 kilowatt-hours per day, saw monitoring screens display live power output, met a woman who knew Thai energy regulations, who made him ginger tea at 2 a.m, who showed him photos of her father's rice farm destroyed by drought, who said this was their chance to build something that actually matters, never verified the company was registered with the Provincial Electricity Authority. The 3 farms belonged to other companies. Trevor's back in Bristol now. The climate investment he dreamed of building never existed. This is my Thailand stories. Keep your guard up out there.